Hey guys, Von Fry here. I am back with another commentary track for the YouTubes. Joining me, we have the return of Michael. Go ahead and say hi, Michael.
Hello, everyone. Glad you could join us.
So, we are going to be watching
The Goonies from
from
1985.
1985. Wow, that is a trip back now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
35 years? Whoa, jeez. This movie is aged really well. I watched this a couple months back when it was still on Netflix. It is now setting up shop on Amazon Prime Video. I've seen it also on Hulu. Either way, you can enjoy this commentary track watching alongside on whatever streaming service this movie's on. If you go ahead and queue up to 0000 and hit play now. All right, so we should have the plain old painting Warner Brothers Pictures. No Bugs Bunny, no animation, nothing. And we have Skull and Crossbones, which is really quite dandy looking. I'm assuming that was all done in camera, not any kind of CGI. Because the only CGI I've seen in opening credits of this time would be something like Golgo 13, that's 1983, and Labyrinth, 1987. And it looked quite a bit different than that. The Goonies. You got any fond memories of this, Michael?
Seeing it in theaters and, of course,
Oh,
seeing it on
really?
TV and home video time and time and time again. But what's weird is I remember when this movie aired on television, for the scenes where they're going underground, exploring, it's so dark throughout the movie. It's so hard to see what's going on. Of course, with nowadays, with DVD and Blu ray, they put it on high definition, which makes it semi easier to watch.
Yeah, I do recall it being tough to discern what is happening in the caverns on television. And when I last viewed this, it, I was thinking, where is all that light coming from? You know, because realistically, they don't have any lights down there. Anybody goes into a cavern or a cave in a movie now, it's totally playing up the fear of the dark, and they never do any kind of fear of the dark scare in this. But I mean, there's other things happening. It's just no one's ever afraid of the dark. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have the escape of geez, what's his name?
Robert
There's
Davi.
Joe Robert Davi. There's Joey Pants. I am not going to be mispronouncing his name.
And Anne
And
Ramsey.
throw Mama from a train right there. Yep.
Okay, he made that escape look awful easy. There were no
Oh
guards up
my
front.
God! Yeah, you no, I forgot about that. Yeah, I can kind of see him getting past one guard, but come on, you walk through the office, don't you? He's how little is that jail? That is one antiquated, old timey jail, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember going on vacation with my family in Oregon quite a few times. I think we drove past this jail location. We didn't go past the house where the family lives, but I think we went past, of all things, I think the school where Kindergarten Cop was filmed. It's somewhere close by this neighborhood.
Yeah, that took place in Oregon. Yeah.
Come to think of it, they make a lot of things in movies look easy, especially earlier where he knocks out the guard.
Well, you know, come to think of it, also, we're starting a kids movie with a jailbreak, a police chase, gunfire. This is not happening in 2019, 2020. You know.
I assume it's
This is
present
the
day
first of
19.
our Goonies here. As they go through this chase, we are introduced to all the Goonies in the background in a way. It kind of makes the town smaller in a way.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's an
there's even
interesting way
the
to
Rose.
set
Is
up
it
character for
Rosita?
everyone. Yeah.
Rosa? Rose? Yeah. This is not directed by Steven Spielberg, but I feel like he gets a lot of the credit for this and Gremlins, or even Poltergeist. You know, movies he produced.
Yeah, Back to the Future as well, but I think
Yeah,
what's nice about that is it just shows how much his career was skyrocketing, not as a director, but just as an executive producer as well. And as I was
what
saying,
is
it's
she doing? Why does she have her head underwater for so long to grab a crab? Like that's probably the weirdest one for me of these introductions.
oh yeah, I mean, I was gonna say this is a fun way to establish and introduce all the characters, but at the same time, seeing this for the first time, you're just wondering what is going on. What are they all doing separately?
Yeah, he would. Key Luke here, Data. He was almost killed, almost ran over. I do like. Is it Chunk? I keep. Yeah, Chunk and Sloth. For some reason, I get those names mixed up because it kind of like they're both the outcasts in a way, but Chunk has a funny little intro there of him smashing his food. You get, oh yeah, he's the fat kid. He's going to have the shake in his hand.
And here we are going past, I think it's Cannon Beach. Yeah, where the rock formation in the ocean.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, and as executive producer, Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, and of course
Kathleen
everyone's
Kennedy.
favorite, Kathleen Kennedy.
Screenplay by Chris Columbus. Now, I've brought this up before, not necessarily in the commentary track, but there's a movie. It it has an Oscar-winning director. It's produced by Steven Spielberg. It was not a hit at the box office, and it's written by Christopher Columbus, and it's called Young Sherlock Holmes. And everything from Harry Potter was stolen from it, and no one seems to realize it except me. So if you haven't seen that, I think it is available on some streaming platforms. Might have been on Amazon Prime last I'd seen.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. And of course, Chris Columbus, I think he also did Home
He
Alone.
directed the first Harry Potter film. It's almost
Yeah.
like they bribed him. Hey, okay, don't sue us. We'll let you direct.
Stepmom and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Josh Brolin, Sean Astin. Josh Brolin, a real dormant career for the longest time to have a late resurgence around 40, you know?
Yeah, and of course, nowadays everyone knows him as Thanos.
What brought him back? I'm trying to think here. There was something he must have done before W. I'm trying to think what was going on with him.
I'm not sure
It
about
kind of
that
seems
either.
like doing W granted him favors. Like, okay, if whoever plays George W. Bush in our little Have a Laugh at Bush movie, we're gonna let you be the bad guy in the next big thing. That's the trade-off. Look at that TV right there, encased in wood. I had grandparents with one like that.
Excuse me, I do know Sean Astin had to go out and gain like 50 pounds just to play Samwise in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he was heavy in that.
I mean, he wanted the role so bad, everyone told him, nope, sorry, you're not fat enough.
There's
So he went out and gained 50 pounds just to get the role.
Corey Feldman, not necessarily his first role, but I swear this kid, he went from like 6 to 20 in the 80s. Because like
At
he
least.
looks really, really young in Friday the 13th Part 4. Here he looks kind of like a 12, you know, something like that. He's got a members only jacket, a purple rain shirt, and then by like what? The Burbs, he looks 20 years old.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
how he
then,
did it.
and then he was in The Lost Boys, and if you really watch his
Yeah.
performance, his voice sounds so much deeper. Of course, I mean, he was, what, 16, 17 by then?
Yeah, he was also voice of Donatello in the Ninja Turtles. A really odd choice for that. Here's Chunked in the Truffle Shuffle. Super impractical gadgetry to open a fence that I think he could have easily reached his hand around to unlock, right?
Yeah.
And who wants to reset all of this? But this is. Did this come out before or in the wake of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where you'd see similar gadgetry?
I think it was around the same year.
It was the same year. I'm just not sure if it was like they had a couple months to plan, you know? Also would like to point out that if you're going to have to keep a keen eye on this, but Brand, that's Josh Brolin, he wears the Nike Vandal high tops from the Terminator, which I have. And they are not easy to come by. They're not really that comfortable either.
Okay. That was weird when Chunk said, but his sister did, and right before we cut away, it looked like he was about to shout something else. It looked like that was an abrupt edit.
Possibly. I sometimes you can catch that in films or particularly in TV ads, or when they're interviewing somebody and they're putting clips together in sports, and they just kind of end on the word they want them to end on. Data comes in. He's listening to the James Bond theme. Fired up the James Bond theme for the 3 seconds of ziplining he did, right?
Right. Oh, oh, the statue.
Everybody has a nickname. Isn't that something? Or close to it, right? Chunk
Yeah.
Mouth Data. Um, Sean
It's like
Astin, he
we,
didn't have a nickname, right?
well, Mikey, just what they call his character, but it's
Well,
like they never go
okay.
by their real names in the movie or their full
Brand
names.
is, I'm assuming, short for Brandon. I've never come across anybody who goes by Brand.
I wonder how many times
Mikey
Data
has the
stopped.
asthma. Do you recall seeing asthma in a film before this, like inhalers and stuff?
Not really.
Rosalita. Okay.
As- Anyway, I wonder how many times Data stopped by breaking the screen door because the mom notices. Like, how many have they had
As
to
they're about to
replace?
bulldoze the house, it may not be that big of a deal at this point. Yeah, he's telling his mom he wants to go by Brand here. Mouth plays the joke on her where it's like we're a drug cartel.
They got a bird cage on the wall. I didn't notice that before.
Oh,
Yeah, nice job gluing it the wrong way.
they do such a good job establishing the characters and like what's the motivating factor and the personalities of everybody. And that's getting to be really hard to do in movies anymore, or at least no effort applied to it.
Well, it's like they all have their own separate thing. Mikey's the good kid, wants to do good for his family. Mouth's the loudmouth. Chunk's the kind of the worrywart, the glutton, and the fat kid. Kind of think it's like all these movies of kids around the late 80s had to have a fat kid in there, like they did it in Stand By Me and the Monster Squad too.
Yeah, and I think they're also usually a source of humor. At the time, you're looking at somebody like John Candy being prevalent, so I think it's like he's supposed to be a mini John Candy. You can see he has the Hawaiian shirt. Oh no, chips on the coffee table. Oh no. It's not like there's salsa spilt on it.
Oh, come on, I've seen far worse messes than that. And trusting them that they'll all behave while she's gone, well, Brand's the older brother. No problem.
It's a little bit of a reach plot wise that of what they have in the attic. I mean, a tiny bit. Like, wouldn't this stuff already be in the museum? Uh, why particularly does his dad have it if it's not already placed somewhere? It's not like it's his family heirlooms.
How long has he been storing all this stuff, too? Because presumably it's the first time Mikey and Brand went up there.
I want you guys to keep an eye on all of the close-ups of hands. I have this movie on DVD. I've listened to the commentary of the cast, and they pointed out how in the close-ups they have female PAs doing the hands of the kids. So these are not little boy hands that you'll be seeing like holding maps or picture frames or something. I'll try to call it out as we see it. All right, so they had power in the attic to turn on this electrical toy thing, right? Anybody
Yeah.
run power into your attic?
Does it have a power cord? Why would they leave it plugged on up there while no one's watching it?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, we got light from the windows, so, for our benefit, we know it's still daytime. It would be dark as the ace of spades up there at night, without any lighting.
All right, so this is the treasure map, right?
Right.
Establishing Chunk as clumsy. Well, furthermore, I guess.
And notice Mikey's counting like he knows Chunk's about to drop the map.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, so that was like a woman picking up the map there in the glass.
Huh. Yeah, it happened so
You'll
fast I
you'll
wouldn't have
see a
noticed.
lot more of it. Yeah, it right here. These are not little boy hands.
And you said you have this on DVD?
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while on DVD. I've watched it in other means. I had a DVD collection of like 200 movies, which doesn't sound too impressive now considering everybody has everything close to it. It was so much more access with these services, and they're in higher resolution. You don't have to get up and slide in this magical disc that contains a movie. So it's just so much more convenient to stream.
Yeah, I
I
asked
can't get myself
because.
to watch anything on DVD, Even if it's not streaming. Like, I can't watch Aliens on DVD.
Well, I asked because one of the extras, I think they have the entire cast doing audio commentary, and they actually
They
show them, like,
do.
years
It
later what
shows
they
them
look
in the
like now.
corner, yeah. But that was probably around 2000 or so.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. It was about 2000. And there was another movie, Ghostbusters, that had a kind of similar commentary where it had the silhouette of the actors, and it was like Mystery Science Theater 3000. But a lot of times you'd get a director's commentary, or maybe a couple stars on the commentary track, but not typically visually. You wouldn't see them. And
I
to
took
tell
it
you
as
what,
mainly.
Chunk actually looked the best when they brought back the crew. It's like, whoa, hey, he looks like he didn't get fat. He lost weight. He's in shape.
Yeah, and it's like, if you just met him randomly without knowing who he was, you never would have guessed. I never would have guessed that was him.
No, But I can't recall anything he's in outside of this, even though I think he's pretty good.
Maybe some television commercials here and there. That's all I can remember.
I would guess that the star among the kids at this point is probably uh, Data, as he's short round. Chester Copperpot did not get very far in in his search for the treasure, you know? Because, like, they come across his body right quick. I have the key to One-Eyed Willy. I'm trying to remember, where did they come across the medallion that links up the islands?
It's
It
coming right
wasn't.
here. Mikey's going to pick it up.
Yeah, it wasn't in the behind the map or nothing, right?
Or was it?
Or
Because
was
he
it?
finds it right
Oh, okay.
here.
So
See,
it's
he picks it
sitting.
up.
It's sitting in there. Which, if okay, so you have the map and the key, and you didn't go look for the treasure because you had the map and the key and you put them away. It, in an attic. Like, I don't understand. You
Is
could
your
tell these
mommy
guys are
here?
bad because they talk down to the kids. There's
Well, of
also a
course,
thing going on in the 80s. Guys in suits, lawyers, real estate developers, always villains, right?
yeah, and of course he's the dad of, the bully who we'll see a little
Yeah,
later on.
that a little convenient. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you, Brand, he looks old, doesn't he? Like, he looks old all the time. Like, I would swear he was like 25, close to 30 here.
I think he was actually in his teens, but
Yeah, I think he
I mean,
was
he's
under
taller and older
18.
than all the rest of them. But we do have a nice little moment here where Mikey's sad and Bran comes up and hugs him. Just, brother to
You don't
brother.
find a lot of this today. They're so in films, even when they're like aimed, when someone tries to do something like this, they're so quick to get onto like the next sight gag. There's no time to catch your breath or understand the circumstances. You get the feeling here. Oh, Brand's not a bad big brother, but he does need to be tied up, right? Old style fridge. You know, I hear you can walk into those and survive a nuclear blast.
Yeah, there's a certain movie I can think of that showed us that's possible.
God, Chunk, what'd you get on your face? I've seen a Pepsi can not too dissimilar from that recently, where they use that branding for the Pepsis with the real sugar. Man, I have not seen a sink countertop like that in such a long time.
Interesting foreshadowing here with the thunder. It's like, oh, we gotta do something. Oh, Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, this had a very long music video. This was a song made for this movie. It had a music video featuring an octopus that was going to be used in the film and got cut.
And as I recall from watching that video, this was around the same time as the first WrestleMania. It had a bunch of WWE wrestlers. We had Captain Lou Albano
Captain
and
Lou played her dad in several music videos. Yeah, he
I
was
think
also
the Iron.
Super Mario and stuff.
Yeah, Roddy
There
Piper,
was
the Iron Sheik,
there was
Nikolai
a song that
Volkov.
you didn't really hear, but in the background at one point here, the politics of dancing, and that was I think maybe as mouth was coming in or something. Like, there was a song they were listening to, but it's like very faint in the background. It doesn't pick up in the subtitles. It's kind of a catchy song, but yeah, we're going to be hearing a lot of Cyndi Lauper for upcoming minutes here. The first WrestleMania, there was a big push to incorporate like pop and rock stars to try to get more people to watch wrestling, so that when they had the WrestleMania, Oh, some people were actually watching for Cyndi Lauper. There's those shoes, the Nike Vandal High, just like Kyle Reese. Oh, she's got to be really freaked out looking at this after what all she's heard.
Okay, right here where they go past where the dad is working. So we know Mikey, you know, the brother's kind of protective of him. He can't be outdoors for too long. Wouldn't the dad be wondering,
And
huh,
the
what's
dad would
Mikey
know
doing
that,
out?
wouldn't he?
Yeah, isn't he wondering, huh, where are they all going? I'm assuming it's late afternoon or something.
There's so many glorious hills in this town. And just trees everywhere. If I was Brand, I would have just ran rather than try to pedal on this little thing.
Yeah, a car would have come in handy. He catches up with them awful easy. I remember there's a deleted scene on the DVD where Mikey and Chunk and Mouth and Data stop by a convenience store. They have a run-in with the bully, and that's where Brand comes to the rescue. It would have been nice to include it as maybe a director's cut, but it would have been in contradiction to when they arrive at the hideout.
Yeah, I don't recall it. I'll have to explore the deleted scenes. There's a shot here where they try to look at the way these islands line up, and they had to like kind of chroma key composite shot it in, and it looks kind of janky by today's standards.
Troy. Okay, now I remember. That's the bully's name. And what has this guy been in lately? I only saw him in The Accused with Jodie Foster, and then he became a director. I think he did Burlesque.
I didn't realize that.
I don't know if you saw that one. It's kind of a
there's been
passable
talk
movie.
of it lately because people realize that the gal from one of the gals from Frozen is in it. It's a little weird that he's picked up Andy, and then it's like, who's the friend? God, I forgot her name. She's in
Steph.
stuff. Martha Plimpton. What's her name? Character.
Yeah, Steph, Martha Plimpton.
She's kind of been in some stuff lately, but it's like, why is she along for the ride? And they just kind of had this quick throwaway line like, oh hey, so picked you up from whatever you were doing. Okay, that's nice to get a ride or something like that. Just some kind of reason to put her in the situation too at once.
I guess it's just their best of friends, Steph and Andy. It's like, wherever you go, I go.
Here we are. Yeah, you can see how you have this outline.
I remember going past this location when my family and I were on vacation in Oregon. I don't believe the restaurant was there.
It doesn't look like it should be there anymore. Pretty dilapidated. There are a surprising amount of locations still around in mid-'80s movies. I've seen just a couple years ago the Tiki motel from the Terminator got bulldozed. Other than that, it looked the same. The gun store from the Terminator looked the same, and still has the sign outside that's the same. The Ghostbusters firehouse looks the same. A lot of things. I guess you're more likely to have things look the same in a bigger city, particularly New York City, where it's going to be tougher to demolish old stuff to make room for new things.
Last I checked, the house in E.T. looks the same.
I'd have to check in on that. That E.T. that was a pretty nice looking neighborhood. You know, for what isn't she like single mom in that movie? And I don't know, it just What was her job? Drug dealers don't wear polyester rags.
Oh yeah, the place is pretty torn down.
Well, what kind of clientele was this place supposed to have anyways? It looks like more like I don't know, some farm or something. Like yeah, there's no people are not pulling up to park there necessarily, right? Like there's no road leading in.
No driveway as far as I can tell.
But they have food cuz they're stocked with ice cream at least, right? But I guess is it Fratellis or Fratellis? They could have brought some stuff. This is their hideout. ORV. This had to be before people said SUV, right? Off-road vehicle instead of sport utility vehicle. This is a really dire ass scene. These kids are threatened. There's a dead body, and this is a PG kids movie, right? So
Right.
customers, sure. What does Rubber Davy got on over there? Like some long gloves? Is he about to chop up a body?
Something like that. For all they know, maybe he was just in the kitchen preparing something.
Yeah, I didn't see an open sign on this restaurant or anything to indicate that they were in business, let alone up to code.
Well, the place doesn't look necessarily inviting either.
A bottle of fettuccine 1981. I have a feeling that's not an actual drink. No label. Man, I don't think kids get threatened like that in films now.
What else has Anne Ramsey done next to this and Throw Mama from the Train? Maybe some television appearances? I don't think. I think she was just always frequently this cartoonish harridan type.
ORV, four-wheel drive. Oh, geez, I'm not drinking that.
Now watch just a few moments right here. See something going on behind
Oh,
them
yeah.
in the window.
Moving a body around. Hadn't really caught that before. I hadn't seen this movie until the mid 90s when it seemed to be playing on TV quite a bit. Because for a while it was kind of sequestered to the Disney Channel when Disney Channel was a premium deal.
It's not just the lighting. Seeing this in widescreen for the first time when I did kind of added a new dimension.
I think this might be even wider than when it was presented on Netflix. Netflix films don't usually have the full bars at the top and bottom of the screen. And you'll notice sometimes they seem to switch to that when they get to the credits at the end. But this is maximum widescreen. Robert Davi actually does some singing. He has albums out. You think with Chunk's powers, you could put that to use in your thievery, right? Instead of just having him as a liability locked up. If the idea is that he's the simple-minded mutant brother, they could have easily have gotten him on board with any kind of plan, right?
Yeah. Oh. See, now Brand
Brand
catches up with
has
them.
found them. I don't know how, but somehow he did it.
How did he catch up with them?
I mean, I can understand catching up. They've been sitting here for a while, but how did he find them?
How did he track them down? Okay, by the sky, it's starting to get dark out.
Oh, definitely.
That's a lot of seagulls flying around.
And much of the movie, it looks like it's about to rain any second. No one will notice my giant yellow rain jacket, so then these girls just kind of pop in. Uh, I don't know. I don't know why they would be so interested in showing up at this point.
They were concerned about Brand, if nothing else. Troy could have killed him.
Yeah, but they had to go find Brand. It's not just as simple as pull over the car now, go talk to him, see if he's okay. More egging on Chunk to get things done. And then don't the girls walk on like a rake with like a head on it?
Yeah, it's coming up. There we go, right there.
Oh, a fish. Yeah. Like, why would? What's that doing there? It's not like a scarecrow thing.
I don't know, there had to be something to give them a scare so they'd run back inside and join them. Right this way, come see what I found earlier.
Place is bigger underground than it is above. They're really getting off track here. We need to find this treasure, but I want to show you this mutant I found. Now we need to say something or it's going to get boring here. Why would she be so disgusted about Andy and Brand kissing? But doesn't she get a little makeout session with Mouth at the end?
Kind of.
Oh, they had much better water down here, didn't they? Look, that's clear stuff.
I think coming up right here, there's a blooper where Mikey says to Brand, "There's something down there, Josh."
You're right. He did say Josh. In the subtitles, it doesn't say Josh. Not on Amazon, but I heard it. When they have the bats come in here, you thinking real bats? Because there's not a lot of ways to fake that at the time and make it look as good. I think there are some fake bats in there, maybe ones that get up in their face and kind of have more screen time, but may have to take a close look at it here. What does that machine do that Data turned on?
It's printing fake money. Maybe just to establish what were the Fratellis in jail for? Counterfeit.
Well, from
Among
counterfeit,
other
yeah,
things.
they definitely got murder. Man, when did a $50 bill ever look like that? That doesn't look that authentic. Yeah, when you get, when the police are looking at you, make sure you get the newspaper and keep it in your base. Chunk was right, and nobody believed him. Man, how could one smell ice cream? It's already frozen, plus it's behind this barrier. This wouldn't be a real ice cream brand, would it? It says a Jensen's.
Where's there Jensen's to buy? I've never seen any.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
Well, they'd smell pizza because they come back with it. Right here. But how do you smell ice cream?
I don't think you can smell ice cream, even if it's right in front of your nose. Yeah, you'd have a tough time with that. Robert Davi in much before this. I know Joey Pants was in Risky Business.
Let's see. He was in Midnight Run, The Fugitive, quite a few movies. Robert
Oh,
Davi, I
before
know he was.
'85.
Well,
No, oh
after
yeah,
anyway.
Joey Pants was in The Fugitive. Yeah, and he's either a cop or a bad guy. It seems, you know.
And Davi, of course, he was the villain in License to Kill.
Yeah, I thought he was a good Bond villain. I also think of him as a what is he, Special Agent Johnson in Die Hard.
Oh yeah, that too. Johnson and Johnson.
They keep that joke going in Live Free or Die Hard. FBI guy comes up. His name's Johnson.
Can't they hear Mouth screaming? Not Mouth, I'm sorry, Chunk.
Well, I mean, they they intentionally ditched Chunk to murderous people here. I'm not sure about that, right? Like, quick head count. Hey, Chunk's not with us.
How are they so
What do you
confident
think
they'll
of
not get
Data's
stuck down there?
inventions? No, yeah, there's no. They didn't bring lights with them either, did they? Like, oh, hey, Chunk's missing. Oh, too late. What do you think of Data's in gadgets?
Interesting ideas.
I think the slick shoes could possibly work. The pinchers of pearl, right? Those wouldn't work. There's no way that those teeth, those like fake teeth, are gonna grab onto anything that could support somebody's body weight and hold.
Go get the police. Yeah, or you could
What's
move
with
the.
this? What's with the wood there? It's got like a glow to it,
It's an artificial glow, I guess. Or Chunk
but
could
it's.
move
I
the
don't think it's
piece and come
plugged
join
into
them.
anything.
And right there, where the cobwebs clear away and we see a window.
He's going to get the police. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. I feel like Chunk should have been able to get to the cops. Like they can't be looking for him specifically, right?
Nah, I'm in charge. I'm the older brother. Oh, Data's got flashlights.
Bully blinders. Oh, it is kind of dark right there. But see, okay, so they don't know Chunk has escaped. Like he hasn't been caught by them yet.
It's coming. But it did get dark awful fast. That had to be a different
Right,
take.
right, but it's I mean, it's just kind of dumb luck that Chunk's caught by them right here. Like, do they have a reason to be out looking for him? They don't know that he ran off. right?
Right. They weren't looking for him. They just, oh, it's the kid. Let's nab him.
It's a little convenient here. You can see that he's Robert Davi. He's heard still singing, but you don't see his mouth move in the rearview mirror as Chunk was running off. Probably caught that. Joey Pants will be in theaters this summer. I think it's this summer or soonish, whatever. In Bad Boys for Life, in which he is captain for I don't know how long at this point. I mean, you got Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, and they're detectives for at least 25 years. Is that the way that works?
About that.
And a guy's got to be captain for, I'm assuming, 30 plus.
Now, why would they think this is a good idea to bang in all these pipes? Something could
No,
break. God knows what could happen.
I'm assuming hot water or gas comes out if you break these. It on top of you. It can't be a good idea.
Not to mention all the damage they're about to cause right here.
Things get kind of weird here. Now, this is kind of fun, like the pipes fall down here, and yeah, okay, that's all right, sure. But the toilet thing, I think, is really awkward. Because anytime toilets get brought up in movies, it's not realistic. No one sits on the toilet the way people actually sit on a toilet. They always still have their pants on.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Gosh, the guy with the eye patch, we got soap on a rope. You'd think this is a prison. Yeah, orange jumpsuit. Just happens to be Troy. Reverse pressure. I didn't realize that's what he said. See, look, he's got... if you look at the back of the wall there, they built a track for that seat to go up, because otherwise the pipe wouldn't go up the wall that way. But I mean, it's not something I think they'd bother with these days, right? It would just be a computer deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and
they wouldn't even have the actual water. They would just it's CGI water, right? CGI person, CGI scene all together. Do you think that they're sincere about cutting his arm up? Because you know what they do to other people, so I'm assuming the stakes are real here. Oh, you're going to get everything all right.
Not exactly what they wanted to hear by everything.
But you get the sense that he's telling the truth. If you just give him some time, he'll get to what you want him to say.
And the looks on their faces say it all. They're just looking at each other, shrugging like, huh?
I like the music in this movie. There's like just these little chimes of wonderment.
Okay, where did they find those lanterns? Did they have them with them the whole time?
No idea. No, did they possibly have a throwaway line saying, "Oh, hey, we found a lantern"? As you know, in these type of movies, everybody always comes across a torch that they can light that lasts forever.
And why is Andy freaking out like this all of a sudden?
I mean, I can kind of understand now that you found the body, but yeah.
I wonder how much narrative we missed in between scenes.
They cover quite a bit of ground, don't they? I guess by the time they get out of the cave, they're not far from where they went in. But it sure seems like, yeah. I mean, can you find a cave that has a pirate ship in it? Like, I guess the idea is that they went in there and there was maybe an earthquake and it trapped them. But then somebody had to get out to give out the map, and I think they bring that up. Like, if no one made it out, then how'd they get the map? I think that sort of thing is kind of in a fourth wall um, reference brought up. Lou
If it was
Gehrig,
50
there's
years
your
ago,
house, kid. That's how you save your house. You found your treasure. Man, Chester Copperpot, he did not get very far here.
nope. Since
Yep,
1935, if
candles.
it was 50 years ago, I mean, if this is present year, when did this, when was news of this a thing? If no one was looking for it, or maybe if someone was trying to find the treasure.
I guess they didn't care much about missing people either. I wouldn't say that looks like One-Eyed Willy. I mean, it looks like it could be any skull. And then when you see One-Eyed Willy, it's like he must have had a deformity in which he had bone grow over where the eye socket was, because there's no eye socket, right? So is that possible?
Who knows?
Let's see. Do you think that a lot of the not necessarily the gadgetry in this from Data, but the booby trap stuff, is that very Indiana Jones like, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
this
very
was
much so.
I think that's kind of a slight against the movie. Oh, it's Indiana Jones for kids. Like more so for kids.
Yeah, especially earlier, if the water pipes, when it sprays the wall, and that's how they make their escape out of that area.
I think for a while this was just kind of viewed as a mediocre film, and now it has the nostalgia vibes. Stranger Things seem to be getting a lot from this. Oh, here's the bats. Does anyone talk like this in order, right? It's
In
sort of a
movies,
thing you'd
maybe,
only
but
find in movies, right?
yeah.
That's got to be real bats.
Yeah, and especially for
Actually,
an
you know what it
animal
could
handler
be?
on for an animal
That might
handler
be like,
releasing them on cue.
okay, so you have some clearly on string here sitting in front of the talent, right? Do you think maybe that could have been like paper mache blown up at them, like through a hose, or maybe like an industrial fan, just throw some garbage, some black garbage in front of it, and fly through fast enough that it look like bats?
Something like that. Could have been like puppetry.
It looks convincing enough, whatever it is. I would assume today it would be CGI bats that look like shite.
Yep.
Man, how many stories did he tell them, and for how long?
That's what I was wondering too. How much narrative did we miss?
All right, I've had enough of this. The hand gets in there. Oh, you're probably not actually sticking a kid's hand in with it on for that shot. Maybe they weren't coming after you. Now you're letting them know, right?
Yeah,
He didn't need
that
to say
wasn't a very
anything. They
smart
don't know
giveaway.
that anybody went under there. No one ever says, "Oh, it's an ugly waterfall," right?
Nope.
Who scored this movie? Because
Dave Grusin.
it sounds like some other stuff too. I don't know. There's some '80s movies that sound so much alike in the music.
But this is one of those movies where it's like, good luck finding the soundtrack.
The map was made a couple hundred years ago. What did Martin Sheen play Kennedy in?
Not sure about that. Maybe a TV movie?
Yeah, I'm not certain either. Yeah, they threw away the coin, and now you're taking away their wish. I'm not so sure.
And Mouth knows, of all of them, which particular coin was his.
Yeah,
Of all
there's
those
a thing
coins
in this
scattered
movie
there.
where everybody has like their speech, or uh, well, at least Mikey and Mouth have their little speech moment there, where I think the kids though they talk like kids, and I don't know if you've seen things lately, like particularly on TV. Kids do not talk like kids anymore in anything. There's a show called Single Parents on ABC. I think it's in its second season right now. Every kid talks like some mouthy hipster collegiate kid, like protester. Like it's so bizarre. Check it out for one episode. I swear, all the kids sound like they're older than their parents. Troy, he's got the. Is that a 5.0 Mustang? Yeah. Like, what we do is we pull up over here by the well, and I tell my boys about me not being with my girlfriend right now. Yeah.
Well, he's got the rich dad. Makes sense.
Do you think you could pull people up with that bucket?
I very highly doubt it.
I think you could put a foot in there and hold on to the rope, and the rope should be able to support one person at a time. That looks really narrow, though. And it looks like the shot down to the Goonies isn't any kind of trickery, but looking up, Troy and his cohorts is a composite. Break your legs, puree your hand. So many threats. Man, I was told never to look at the TV that close.
What a makeup job.
Yeah, it's uh, I don't know if it's realistic, but it could be worse. The thing I'm noticing more when I look at things where I think there's so much rose-colored glasses when it comes to makeup appliance on people, animatronics. You start to realize how stiff in the face a lot of things were compared to the way things should be so much.
Here's Mikey's speech coming up.
Yeah. And this is where he calls them Goonies, right? The first time we hear the title.
Uh,
Or
I think
maybe
it was
maybe
earlier
he
when
does it.
just
Maybe
before they
it's
made
just
their escape.
Troy. Andy, you Goonie, right? Goonies never say die. What the hell is a Goonie? Is that something made for this movie? Like a made up word?
Well, he also mentions the Goon Docks, so that's probably where they got the name.
There's something called a Goon Dock.
Yeah, they mentioned something about it earlier.
I've heard
Okay,
of a
here's a
boondock.
where they're all looking at each other like, huh, I think Mikey's right this time.
Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here. A little repetitive. Troy's bucket. I wouldn't call it Troy's bucket. He has ownership of the well. You hear of things like black moss. You get that in your house, everybody dies. What are the chances caves are full of some stuff you shouldn't be breathing? Especially if you have asthma. Unintentionally funny delivery there. I don't know.
Well, he's got a jacket with his name on, too.
I think Sloth's already warmed up the chunk.
Oh, watching a cooking channel, they're baking a cake. Look, I got a candy bar.
What are the odds that Chunk had a candy bar he didn't eat already?
Yeah, especially earlier when they were biking through the forest. I think he said something like, I'm hungry, I want to go home. Well, the candy bar was all the motivation he needed to break loose. There's a lot of cross-cutting in this movie when you think about it, the way they bounce from scene to scene.
Yeah, because you have to get. Chunk is separated from the rest of the kids for so long. Those are the signature of the Nike Vandals right there. They weren't size 5.
Sloth's got a good build on him. As I recall, this guy
Yeah,
was actually
ex
a football
NFL.
player.
Yeah, it showed his names in the credits alongside Robert Davi near the end of the credits at the opening. I
And
think
sadly,
he died in the 80s.
he sadly passed away a few years later.
You gotta laugh a little bit like Dave Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody has their role. We got the gadgets, we got the rally, we have well, okay, maybe not everybody has something, but Andy ends the music all of a sudden. It's not like we saw her playing music at the beginning of the movie, but it's just like, oh hey, I took piano lessons. Uh, does Martha Plimpton do anything?
She was in Parenthood a few years later.
No, well, I mean, what does she do
Yeah.
in like her character like have an ability that gets them out of a situation? I don't think Brand necessarily does stuff. He kind of rescues Andy uh, in the water.
I can't think of much other than it's just established they're best friends. They always hang out together.
Traps the hand.
Or to give Mouth a possible love interest.
Yeah, she definitely does that. Everybody's really concerned for Data. I mean, okay, he kind of almost died. There's no way, like I was saying, that those teeth are going to clamp onto anything with the force to support his body weight and all that.
And would the
But
teeth be
everybody, yeah, that
would the
is
teeth
not
be strong
happening.
enough to stop his fall?
No, no. I don't think that his cable would have. None of this would have held up. And they come down to him, don't they?
I think so. We've got a Gremlins reference coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I can't remember the name of this guy playing the sheriff, but if you look him up, he pops up in a lot of Richard Donner's films. I think he played like a
Is he
henchman
in a
in Lethal
Superman?
Weapon 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Oh, was he? Was he? Oh yeah, they just talked about the stuff you throw water on. Yeah, I think he might have been the guy that Mel Gibson had to bust at the Christmas tree farm near the beginning. Maybe he shot him or something. Yeah, or did he jump? Maybe he was the guy that jumped. No, I don't. I'll have to look at it.
I'm pretty sure he was the.
What's the deal with Richard Donner? Like, no one, there's no love for him out there. He made movies that you would assume he'd get more credit for, like Superman, Lethal Weapon,
Yeah,
The
you'd think.
Goonies. I mean, one would assume. Like, people act like the only person making movies in the '80s was like Steven Spielberg, just about.
Robert Zemeckis, maybe?
I don't know if I don't know if most people know who Robert Zemeckis is, and if they do, it might be for Forrest Gump.
Well, Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, but I see. I'm not sure if people know that. Like, I think people think Steven Spielberg directed Gremlins,
And he didn't. That was Joe Dante.
and people probably think Steven Spielberg directed this too. They got the Pea Cave. I don't know if this scene has a purpose. Like, couldn't this have been cut? It's a pretty long movie. This is like a 2 hour kids film, and at a time when that scene is a bit excessive. Nowadays, people don't go to the movies for something less than 2.5 hours.
Could have been in there for a number of reasons. Give Mikey his first kiss. or just a comical scene. Oh, wait, does Brand wear braces?
That is kind of funny.
And also just to continue reminding the audience, oh, Andy's love struck.
You get a really genuine laugh out of Martha Plimpton here.
Definitely. What else have I seen Cary Green in? Let's
She was
see.
in, I think, a soccer movie with, was it Ladybugs or something similar, or The Big Green?
Yeah, she was the daughter in Summer Rental, and I think she
Oh
was also
yeah,
in.
I watched a
Yeah,
little bit of that.
I think she was
Some
also
about
in
a year ago, maybe.
Lucas a year after this.
She was in Lucas same year, I thought. What was that? Not 85?
That was
Could have
'86, I
been
think.
86. Might have been. Charlie Sheen, Corey Haim.
Oh, we gotta set up tension. They're coming.
And there's the skull in the wall.
Now it's gotta be a chase. They're running for their lives.
And I didn't notice before, but you can kind of see the teeth in the skull on the floor there, right? See on the ground, at the
Yeah, just
slats.
barely.
You know, if you think about it, something as ominous as like the Terminator walking around with the skeleton exposed. If you don't have a mouth or lips to hide your teeth, you always look like you're smiling. This looks pretty dangerous. You might have to look sharply here to see if anybody's got cables on their back as they're trying to cross.
That would be an awful slippery cross to make right there. Cut away awful fast.
I
You
think
know,
of his inventions, this one, not incredibly practical, but I think could work.
where would there be a compartment to hide all that oil in his shoes? Or whatever that stuff is.
I mean, there's room for some. They probably had to refill that every time it squirted. You can't see a lot in the way of oil on that log right now. Firing guns at kids. Ooh, gun in hand while you're trying to do this, huh?
Oh, ouch.
You know, you see something like that right there. It looks almost like something out of Hook. And I wonder if whatever was going on in this movie got Steven Spielberg to thinking he needed to do a Peter Pan film. This is not a trap one could easily reset for the next people that try to come in.
Yeah, you play the wrong notes, the floor gives away.
I wonder how. It seems like very much a movie thing to have booby traps. I don't hear of, hey, we were exploring a pyramid and, you know, the darts came out of the walls, the boulders fell. I could kind of understand a door closing, possibly, but I don't think there's a lot of engineering prowess put into stuff with without even metal components. I don't think you really need to hit all these notes. Isn't there an edge of the room that you could walk around? Isn't that what the Fratellis do?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just open it just wide enough that they can fit through.
The music's real different in this scene too. There's like a bassy type thing.
Yeah, it's just got to set up tension. The bad guys are coming. We got to play the tune and get out fast.
Boom, boom, boom. And now he somehow has a boxing glove stuffed on him that should have been pretty noticeable. Whoa, I'm falling where I could walk over to the other side instead of crowding the edge. I don't know how you could read what you were pushing there. If you knew a piano or an organ. Yeah, okay, here comes the boxing glove.
Yeah, and kind of a cartoonish sound effect.
Ding. Yeah, and then the blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I swear that when Dennis Nedry slips on the doesn't he slip on a banana peel or like no he slips in Jurassic Park and falls down the muddy slide where the spitting dinosaur he runs across, right? Well, I've seen that movie many times, and lately I haven't been hearing a sound effect when he slips, but I know I've seen it in times past where he has the cartoon slip on a banana peel sound as he falls. I wonder if they make adjustments to things like that and without really issuing it so much. A week ago, Aha's "Take on Me" music video got a 4K restoration with different sound effects put in the music video, and some people picked up on it. But it's not like whoever issued the video said that it was now with different sound effects. This looks like a pretty cool water slide. I would think the best way to do that is to go to an actual water park and just line it up with some moss, artificial tree limbs, right?
Yeah, might have been what they did.
But I don't know if water parks were so much a thing in '85. Can you recall there being water parks before the '90s?
Not really.
I was wondering about pizza also. So they went and got pizza, right? It's 1985. Papa John starts in '85. When was pizza American style, like a thing people got or had delivered to them? I mean, you may know better than me on that.
I'd have to look into that.
Can you recall ordering a pizza and having delivered before? Or when's the first movie you've seen someone deliver a pizza?
E.T. maybe? Because earlier on when they were playing cards.
There's a pizza delivery man?
Yeah, there's a pizza delivery man.
Okay, so that's '82. I wonder if that made pizza popular. I'd never heard of anyone delivering pizza in the '70s.
Oh, okay, that's how they get across. There just happens to be that little section of the floor that's
what I
still
was
intact.
Saying. Like, yeah, one doesn't really need to solve that.
And I doubt one could make the jump across.
They had to actually do stuff in movies back in the day. Like this couldn't have been an easy process. Like you make a movie like this now and you're getting like an art direction Oscar for actually having sets.
And remember, this is all taking place one night. Because it's morning daylight once they get out of the cave.
I think there were a lot of movies in the 80s that took place in one night. Like okay, Die Hard also a Robert Davi film, but you don't come across movies now that take place in one day. Did Gremlins take place in maybe a few days? Well, most of the action took place over one night. Corey Feldman film. So the
Look,
idea
I
is
know.
all these guys got poisoned, right, by One-Eyed Willy.
Yeah.
Did he also drink the poison as he's sitting among them? This is Data's little monologue. Billions of what? Would that be a voodoo doll? Or why else would pirates have dolls? Oh, that one didn't do a whole lot.
Again, they make everything in movies look so easy. He punches the wood of his hand to
Yeah,
help break through.
okay. It's old wood. It's been in a soggy cave. It's weak. I feel like our asthma boy should be struggling a lot more than he is. Though through the adventure he overcomes asthma, doesn't he?
I guess. He's not. Doesn't need the inhaler as frequently.
I think that's his big character change. That's his arc, is overcoming the asthma.
But, in a kid's movie like this, I guess it's also important that you have a main character the audience can relate to. Like Mikey, he wants to
Okay,
do the
so
best for his family.
we got some guys here look like they got stabbed. I suppose if it wasn't known as One-Eyed Willy, you wouldn't know which one of these was the leader.
What could have been going on there, even? They're all huddled at a dining table together or something.
Yeah, that's an odd skull. When they use skeletons in movies, do you think they're always a plaster type thing? I don't think they could. You could really get away with using real remains. Long enough. Yeah, it's a little bit of a contrived line.
Now, if it were me, I'd be careful of what I pick up. You don't want to set off another trap.
Yeah, isn't there more trap to come? I thought that maybe something else happens when you move some chips.
How much you think all that treasure is worth?
Man, a brick of gold. Last I saw, and this was a while back, it was like 60,000. It's probably double that now. Plus, there's, I mean, there's not just that it's gold, but historical rarity of whatever coin. Yeah, they're picking up chips worth enough to save their homes. That's for sure. That is kind of funny that they overheard. No, can people in movies not understand when anyone's around them? Like, I know if someone else is in my house or walking down the street, you know? But it's amazing how, like, in movies or sitcoms, somebody can just walk 10 feet away and they have a private conversation. We are about to reunite Chunk and Sloth with the narrative. We haven't seen them in, feels like a long time.
And remind us that Jake and Francis, see where they fell over there against the barrels. Not exactly intimidating henchmen from time to time. Oh,
They
that
had
backfired.
guns, and now they're picking up swords. Now, she lost her gun, so I'm guessing they are totally gunless now. Which you kind of need to happen for Sloth to save them. Was she around them when they called him Mouth?
I doubt it.
I think she just made a sound with her mouth shut. Like the ADR was different or something. Oh man, they put these kids through a lot. Now they're gonna drown them. Here's really Brand's contribution.
I can't tell you how many times this line coming up right here was quoted. Hey, you guys!
I think it had been brought back because in the Los Angeles Lakers there was a player who was a different looking kind of guy, and the joke was that he looked like Sloth. And Kobe Bryant, when the guy would come in the game or something, you could see him on the sideline being like, "Hey, you guys," in reference to the Goonies. And then it seems like it sort of got brought back into culture around that time, and also with memes or whatever. But when Sloth says, "Hey, you guys," he's kind of learned that from Chunk. Chunk's seems to constantly be saying, "Hey, you guys," right?
Yeah. You know, in movies like this around the 80s when there's a bunch of kids hanging out, was it a, was it a lot of a thing that they'd have vocabulary where they're swearing a lot?
This could be the first one to do that. Though I mean, there it's not. I think some of their words, one would be like, "Oh, well, you wouldn't say that around your mom if you were their age." But I don't think there. Actually, you know what? E.T. probably did it more, possibly. I don't wear a hairpiece, and then we will see he does. Though you know what, I think that if this movie was done later, we would have had more of a close up of Joey Pants there losing his hair instead of it kind of being in the scene so quick that one can miss it. Finally get their kiss. Oh no. Did he say Viva la Mama?
Well, Sloth sings in Italian as well. And as we know, there's an animal called a sloth. I think that was just his nickname, actually.
Yeah, man, why? She's calling him Sloth.
And sloth, if we're talking seven deadly sins, means laziness.
I think a sloth would actually make for a pretty good pet. They're slow enough they could stay out of trouble. They do yell a lot. They hang upside down and scream. I only dropped you once, and all this happened. Okay, twice. Now I drop you.
Look at them cheering in the background.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't noticed that before.
Now, there's another deleted scene right about here, I think was where it was going to be, where an
Yeah,
octopus
the
comes out of the
octopus.
water and threatens the kids.
Yeah, you can see the octopus in action in the Cyndi Lauper video.
Because they actually reference it towards the end. Like, oh, the octopus was really scary. I mean, if you watch the movie without any knowledge of it, you're thinking, huh? What octopus?
I'm going to have to look for that. I don't recall them saying that.
But as I recall watching the deleted scene, the octopus doesn't exactly look convincing either. It's very fake looking. It drags, I think, Andy underwater with its tentacles, and I think Data just happens to have a Walkman on him with a tape in there, and he puts it in the octopus's beak, and that scares it away.
Oh.
Like I said, if they did like maybe a director's cut and they put the scene in there, it might have been interesting to watch, but
Oh yeah, so they moved the coins and then everything goes bad now. That was the last trap.
it just would have detracted from the movie. I think it was wise they cut it out. But again, they reference it later.
Did the Fratellis make off with no coins? No valuables?
Maybe they do because the
I
police
guess
show up to arrest them anyway.
drop some. But who gets to keep it then? Is that a North Face backpack on Data? I think it is. That's a North Face logo. You know, I'm not sure if that was even a company in '85. Oh no, who's going to lift that for us? There was a lot of lifting a rock or holding a door open for other people in the 80s. Seen it happen in Conan the Destroyer, in Kroll. Goonies here. Under my legs, no complaining. Just try not to lift your head when you're going under. Oh yeah, there's the toupees all over the place now. Oh yeah, Joey Panther, he's got his toupee in his mouth now, swimming. You can see that's a composite shot. Man, you have to have a lot of faith in your engineering that to think that you can't ever test if this stuff would work, you know?
And filming it, it's one of those things like they'd have to get it
So,
near perfect the first
but
time.
but here's something to think about. If the key to escaping with so they hid in the cave, right? With the gold. You're a pirate, you hide in the cave, and something falls in or whatever, and everybody's trapped. And then you tell everybody there, no, we're not escaping. Everybody stay down here. That's the way it's going to be. There's no food or nothing, right?
Right.
But somebody gets out. There's a treasure map, whatever. But you build all these booby traps, and one of the booby traps creates an escape for the ship. So they actually had from the start a way to get out. I mean, I guess all one of them had to do is move the coins, and that would have triggered the trap that opened the wall. All right, so we're going to listen for the octopus line. Do they tell, like, the TV cameras? Oh, Domino's Pizza.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's kind of my pizza of choice of late. We were underground. It's good to hear your voice.
And none of the parents are like, we were worried sick about you. Where were you? It's just a happy reunion.
Oh, yeah, this is almost a selfie right here. You know, it would have been better for him to have had that make a selfie with the camera pointing back at him. So you have the device on you so that you're in the picture, right?
Right.
Otherwise, what's it really doing? You know, you can just pick up your camera and hold it.
Okay, here's something to establish. Malf and Steph kind of have a thing going.
I kind of would have liked to see a sequel with them too. Though at this point, if there's a reboot, it would probably be like a continuation type thing where it's the kids of the Goonies getting into something.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, this is one of those movies people would think, no, 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 please don't make a sequel. It doesn't need one. But it would be nice seeing them again. I will admit that.
I think we could be getting outside of the feasibility of 80s nostalgia reboot. Is they're like, okay, the kids now, they have nostalgia of the 2000s, as weird as that is to think. Let her mother worry. Who needs it? He overcame asthma. Cave adventure. Protect him with that pizza. Yeah, the cops would have shot him by now. That's how the cops roll. You touch the cops, you get shot.
And they play the Superman theme.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it. You know, Richard Donner makes the Superman film, and we got the Superman shirt.
Yeah, and since he directed the first movie, I guess they had the rights to do that. Oh, you're gonna live with
Very
me now,
malleable
Sloth.
ears.
Who would let?
Yeah, I didn't even ask his mom.
Who would let their kid take that thing in?
You gotta sign the papers, lose your house. Is Dad Goonie here from? Is he in anything? Can't seem to think of it.
Maybe he was a crew member. I can't remember his name.
Signing on the back, just like in Running Man. Now, I'm not sure if these gems are enough to save all their houses.
Yeah, I think CinemaSins pointed that out as well.
I mean, one could make the case that they're worth more now, but also land, houses cost more now too. So now, if they'd had their original stockpile of what they picked up from, they would have been in the clear for sure.
Oh, definitely. They could have cashed in wherever they wanted with all that.
I mean, okay, I see a giant diamond in there, and I mean, there's a possibility. Those are some mighty big, if those are diamonds. Shred that up real quick and throw it in the air into more pieces than you made, right?
Right there, the octopus was scary.
Yep, I saw the subtitle.
Again, you watch the movie without any knowledge of the scene. You'd think, huh? What octopus?
This sounds familiar to another movie too. This, as the ship's going. I think right around here is when this would cut into a wider shot, and then the credits would start. Like you notice how like sometimes at the end of the movie it seems like they adjust the aspect ratio on you.
And it establishes a good closing shot where you see the ship sailing off in the distance.
Yeah, I know that looks a bit janky, but yeah, I'll accept it.
Now it looks like it's almost about to get dark
Someone
soon.
has got to round that up with the Coast Guard or whatever, and then have a ton of money. But do the Goonies then get a finder's fee? Possibly.
Possibly.
That would save their house.
There'd be a lot of treasure still on that ship.
Yeah.
And we get another roundup
All
of
right.
Cyndi
So
Lauper.
are the Goonies good enough for you, Michael?
Oh, definitely. I'd say it still holds
Yeah.
up.
This is a pretty enjoyable movie. I mean, there's a lot of kind of things to complain about. Of well, how did that happen? In a way, I would still say I would give a 3 out of 4 stars.
Same here. I mean, it's got plot holes to be sure, but still a fun movie to watch.
All right. Well, I'm not sure what the next commentary is going to be, but thanks for joining us, guys. Till next time. Adios.
Bye-bye.